filmmaker for Tinsley.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thank you guys so much. This is really cool that you guys came out. I'm really glad you came out to share this movie with us. We really appreciate that, you know? This has been something that we have been working on for, well, 4 years. And it just started just like one night with, I want to come down here so bad I can't find stairs. But it started like 4 years ago, you know? It's just like one night, I had this just thing that just hit me. It's just like, whoa, you're gonna make a film? Just like, holy. I was just like, I couldn't believe it, that it was so definitive. I've never had anything like hit me like that, that said, you know, you're going to do this thing. And like at that moment, you know, I was completely resolved that I was gonna make this movie. You know, we spent 3 years making it, you know, and it was a movie of faith, you know, because we started it just from an idea. You know, and you know, we had like a little bit of a story, and we had like some elements of a story, but we didn't have the complete thing. You know, and part of it was, you know, for me, it's just like the fun of creating something. It's just like not really knowing what it's going to be at the end. It's just like the journey, you know, the journey of the creation, and that's what we wanted to do here. You know, we wanted to first start with the music. We started with the music because to me, a movie. I love when movies have emotion to them. I love when you can feel the movie. You know, when the music and the visuals on the stage and the acting and everything comes together and it's just like one emotion. And when that happens, I just get chills, you know? That's what I like to see when I go to see movies. You know, so this movie has more, you know, just emotional appeal, more just music and images than dialogue. You know, because to me, it's just like that, what comes from the heart speaks more than truth. You know, and what you read from eyes speak more than words. And that's what we sought out to do. And we did not know exactly what the end was going to be, but we started out, we did the music, everybody listened to the music, everybody got the vibe of this music, everybody got the story of this music from Seattle's own Sean Smith. And also the band Mach 2. They just came in. It was the most incredible thing. DMB was here recording the last bit of Big Whiskey, the Gruber's King. And I would be in the studio with the band recording from like noon until midnight. And then I would leave that session, I'd go over to a session with Mach 2, and then later Sean Smith. And we record from like 12 to 6 in the morning. And that whole time we would just press, I have an engineer just press record. So every minute of that 6 hours there was music. But these musicians just guided me. I said, here's the story, here's what we have. You know, about the son who comes home to the funeral of his dad. About some of the scenes, you know, about the bonfire scene, about the character of that caterer at the funeral reception. The mysterious guy, the mysterious man that leaves the package. You know, there are all these things that we knew about it, but there's things that we did not know about it. And I said, just go in there. I just said, just play from your heart, you know? Just, you know, just make the music for this movie. And don't listen to your head. It's like, is this the right thing I'm playing? It's just like, don't listen to that. Just play strictly from your heart. And just the most amazing things happen. It's just like you hear all that music up there. It all happened in the moment. I mean, the musicians just got in the studio and just played that. That was not written or rehearsed. Some of these musicians never met each other before. And they just got in the room and just made this stuff happen. And there's something magical about that because I've never seen anything like that in my life. You know, and I've been in the music business for, you know, over 20 years. And I've had a lot of experiences, you know, but I've never really quite seen anything like that before in my life. You know, where everybody was really on the same page. Everybody knew where to go. It was almost like everybody knew this song already, but we were playing and it was magical. And everything about this whole experience has been magical. It's just like we've never had any kind of roadblock. Everything has always turned out the way that we wanted it to turn out. But at the same time, it was like we had this very strong belief in this movie. We had a very strong belief that what this movie was about, where this movie wanted to go, that we would discover that, and we just believed that. And it took so much faith. But the more that we went on, more that faith was confirmed. It's just like, wow, there's just like, there was moments like, I remember like the opening of this movie, because to me, like the opening of a movie is just huge. You've got to nail it, and it was just like, to me, it was just like, that was probably the one element of the film that I was the most nervous about for months. It was just driving me crazy, but it was the kind of thing, it's just like, well, what do we do, what do we do? But for months, I just thought about it, and I thought about all the different elements. And then Aaron and I, the director, Aaron Farrington, got together, and we just like, he and I had been thinking about all these different elements, and we just put them together. And it was like, oh wow, it's just right here. It's just right here, and it just flowed. Just everything that we needed was there. And then we just instantly knew this goes here, and this goes here, and that goes there. And this thing that I had stressed about for months, and it just came just really beautifully. And just sort of flowed, and everything's been like that. We just run into like Rita Dove, the poet that does the poem in the beginning. She's a Pulitzer Prize winner poet who teaches at the University of Virginia, and she's a former U.S. poet laureate. And she just happened to call me one day in the beginning of this process when we were making a movie, and she asked me to be a part of an event that she was doing on poetry. And I said, wait a minute, Rita. I said, Rita, you wouldn't be interested to write a poem for this movie that I'm producing? And she's like, yes. I told her about the idea of what we're doing, the freedom of it, and she was so down. She was so down. She's a Pulitzer Prize winner poet, but she was like a little kid. She was like a little kid, the fun of this, the excitement of this, to make poetry, to make a screenplay from music. And when she came on board, just like that, just like, yes, absolutely, that was the moment that really sealed it for me. That Rita Dove said, I will be a part of this project. And I said, we will make this movie. She's a great woman and a great poet, and that poem moves me very much. And it just sets the tone. She wrote that toward the beginning of the process, but it really sets the whole tone of the movie. But we were so lucky to get that. We were so lucky to get that. It's like everything that we needed that we got. And it was this belief in something that just grabbed a hold of me, that I shared with others, and everybody else felt that same thing. And it's led us here. And you've seen the movie, and hopefully you felt the same thing too. Because this has all been from the heart. The heart of these musicians that started. They just poured their hearts out. Sean, all that music that he sang, it just came out of his heart. All the musicians, all the music that the musicians did, it came out of their hearts. And everybody vibed off of that. Everybody listened to that. That was what drove this movie, was the music. The director, the screenwriter, the actors, Rita, everybody listened to it. So it all revolved around that. And so we had, like, at the end of this process, we had just like all these pieces that were like interwoven, they're interconnected. And our job was to put all these pieces in the right place. Because it was all there. It was all there, and even over 3 years of shooting, it was still, everything was very consistent. It was very consistent. Something that was shot this year was very consistent to what happened last year or the year before. It's just like everything just kept coming from the same place. And I'm so glad that we have come to this day to show it to an audience and show it to you guys. I have talked for a very long time. And this is supposed to be a question and answer. I probably answered about 50 questions. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Hi, I'm Myers from Montrose, New York. How you doing, boy? Huge fan. The one thing I want to ask you is, and you can ask my fiance, I was crying about 3 times during this whole thing. It touched me so hard. Whose father died that you're bottling this off of? Because my father passed away 10 years ago, and it took me right back there. What happened? That because you can't not do. I mean, you have to do it off somebody's emotions. What's my
And you're right, you know, and there's 2 things about that, about the subject of the funeral for the father. One was just, I guess, the whole subject of grief was because that fall, that summer before that fall, you know, we had lost our friend Leroy Moore, you know, who was a really, really good friend of mine and a mentor of mine, and really somebody very important in my life. And I was really down for months. And it was like I needed something creative to put my focus into. That was something that I knew. I didn't know what it was to go into the studio or what to do. And I had the thought of making, it wasn't just like out of nowhere. I've been thinking about making a movie for like 15 years. But I hadn't been, at that time, planning to make a movie. It just sort of hit. And so that had, I believe, a little bit to do with the grief element. But here's the thing, and you nailed it when you said this, because in a movie, in characters, I want actors to become a character and not to act like a character. And in order to do that, to me, you have to have something real from the actor's life that's also in the character, because then you can relate to it on a real level. And you're absolutely right. And Ryan's father had died a few years before that. You know, and that's something that he had gone through, and that's something that I knew that he could relate to. You know, so you know, going forward, in any movie that I do, that's going to be really an important element, that the lead actor has something to that he shares with the character, so he can truly relate. Because otherwise, you're acting. But if you know about this, then you're becoming that. You're lending yourself to that. And so that's a really good question. Anybody else? I can't see, so you have to say something.
She's coming. Up here, she's coming.
Oh, okay, cool. Wait, where are you? Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries. That's not wrong. Into the darkness. How you doing? All right.
I wanted to know if there was any trials or tribulations, and if so, what kept you motivated to do it?
I mean, for one thing, I mean, there was in the course of this, you know, there were probably about, you know, 3 or 4 deaths of people who were close in the movie, people who, you know, had played a major role in the movie. You know, and those were difficult times. You know, those are difficult times for all of us, and feeling for, you know, our friends who were going through these losses over the years. That was hard. And trials. There were trials, but the thing about it was, it's just like we always had a way to overcome it. And it always was overcome at the very last minute. And the thing about it is, it's just like I can't think of a single one. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do right now is bring out some people that might be able to jog my memory on some stuff. Aaron Farrington, director of Faces in the Mirror. Executive producer of Faces in the Mirror.